The sky burned red over Busan. Dr. Ta-Woo Kim looked up from his desk at the Space Center and sighed. Only 12 hours remained before the solar flare would hit Earth. Only 12 hours before everything ended. Dad, the final checks on the Seoul are complete. Jae-yun entered his office, her face tired but determined. At 28, she was the youngest xenolinguist in the program. Her black hair was tied back in a simple ponytail, and her eyes, so much like her mother's, showed the strain of the past weeks. "How many can we take?" Ta-Woo asked, though he already knew the answer. 10,000 on our ship. About 200,000 total across all 20 colony ships worldwide. Jae-yun's voice cracked. "It's not enough. It has to be." Ta-Woo stood up and walked to the window. Below, thousands of people crowded the gates of the Space Center. Armed soldiers kept them back. Everyone knew what was coming. Everyone wanted a spot on the ships. The sun had been acting strangely for months. First small flares, then bigger ones. The scientists had warned the world governments, but no one had expected the massive eruption detected last week. A solar flare so powerful it would strip away Earth's atmosphere and boil the oceans. There was no stopping it. No bunker deep enough to hide in. "The lottery selections are complete," Jae-yun said, placing a tablet on his desk. "All passengers have been notified." Ta-Woo nodded. The lottery had been the only fair way to choose who would survive. Some spots were reserved for key scientists and experts needed for the new colony, but most were randomly selected from the global population. "Your mother called again," he said quietly. Jae-yun closed her eyes briefly. "I know. She understands why she wasn't selected." The painful truth hung between them. Jae-yun's mother had accepted her fate. As the wife of the program director, she could have been given a spot, but she had refused to take a place that could save someone younger. "Commander Park wants to speak with you," Jae-yun said, changing the subject. "He's concerned about the fuel calculations for the long sleep journey. Tell him I'll be there shortly." Ta-Woo gathered his papers. A loud explosion shook the building. Alarms blared immediately. "The gates," someone shouted from the hallway. The crowd broke through the east gate. Jae-yun ran to the window. Below, chaos had erupted. Desperate people poured through a gap in the fence, overwhelming the guards. "We need to launch now," Ta-Woo said, grabbing his daughter's arm. "Get to the ship." They rushed through the corridors of the Space Center. Emergency lights flashed red. Over the speakers, a calm voice repeated, "All crew to launch stations. Immediate departure protocol initiated." Commander Do-hyun Park met them at the elevator to the launch pad. His uniform was perfectly pressed despite the crisis, his face showing no fear. "Dr. Kim, we're ready to go. The other ships have already begun launching." Through the windows, Jae-yun saw the massive colony ship Seoul waiting on the pad, its white hull gleaming in the unnatural red light. Their last hope. "Get everyone on board," Ta-Woo ordered. As they reached the boarding area, the sounds of fighting grew closer. The last of the passengers were rushing aboard, scientists carrying precious data, families clutching small bags of belongings. Jae-yun turned to her father. "Let's go." Ta-Woo didn't move. "You go ahead." "What?" "No. Come on." She pulled at his arm. "Someone needs to make sure the launch sequence completes," he said calmly. "The automated systems were damaged in the riot." "Then I'll stay too," Jae-yun said, her voice rising. "You can't. They need you up there." Ta-Woo took her hands. "Humanity needs you." "Dad, please." Commander Park appeared beside them. "Dr. Kim, we have to go now." "Take care of her," Ta-Woo told Park. Then he hugged his daughter tightly. "You were always the best of me, Jae-yun. Build something better out there." Before she could protest further, Park pulled Jae-yun toward the ship. The last hatch was closing. As the Seoul rose into the burning sky, Jae-yun pressed her hand against the window, watching her father grow smaller below, a lone figure standing tall as Earth faced its final day. Cold. That was Jai Yun's first thought as her eyes slowly opened. Cold, and a deep ache in her bones. The lid of her sleep pod lifted with a soft hiss. "Welcome back, Jai-Yun Kim. You have been in cryosleep for 50 years, 2 months, and 17 days." The voice was familiar, yet different. Jai-Yun blinked, her vision clearing slowly. A hologram flickered beside her pod, taking the shape of her father. "Dad?" she whispered, her voice cracking from disuse. "Not exactly," the hologram said. "I am TAEKIM, the ship's artificial intelligence. My personality matrix was modeled after Dr. Ta-Woo Kim. His final gift to you." Jai-Yun tried to sit up, but her muscles felt weak. A medical robot gently helped her to a sitting position. "The *Seol* will reach its destination in 3 days. TAKM continued. Commander Park requested your early awakening." "The others?" Jai-Yun asked. "Still in cryosleep. You are the first to awaken." Jai-Yun looked around the vast chamber. Thousands of pods filled the room, each holding a sleeping human. The last humans, perhaps. "Earth?" she asked, though she knew the answer. The AI's face grew sad, so like her father when he had to deliver bad news. "Gone. We monitored the solar event from a safe distance. The flare was stronger than predicted. Earth's atmosphere was stripped away entirely." Jai-Yun closed her eyes. She had known this would happen, but hearing it confirmed made it real in a way it hadn't been before. Her mother, her friends, her home, all gone. "The other ships?" she asked. "We lost contact during the journey. The flare caused unexpected radiation that damaged our long-range communications. We believe they reached their planned destinations, but we cannot confirm." After she dressed and ate, Jai-Yun was taken to the ship's bridge. Commander Do-Hyun Park stood before a large window that showed the endless black of space. He looked older, not physically, as the cryosleep had preserved his body, but his eyes held 50 years of watching over sleeping passengers. "Jai-Yun," he said, turning to her. "Good to see you awake. Commander, you didn't sleep. Someone had to stay awake. The ship rotated a skeleton crew every 10 years. He gestured to 3 other crew members working quietly at their stations. "This is the 5th rotation. I chose to remain awake for the entire journey." 50 years, Jai-Yun said, trying to grasp what that meant. "Come see," Park said, leading her to the main viewing screen. He tapped a control, and the screen changed to show a blue-green planet. "Our new home. We're calling it Hope, for now." The planet looked eerily like Earth, with vast oceans, white cloud swirls, and green landmasses. "It's beautiful," Jai-Yun said. "It's more than that," Park replied. "It's inhabited." Jai-Yun stared at him. "What?" Park zoomed in on one of the continents. Tiny points of light became visible, cities, or something like them. "We detected radio signals 3 years ago. They're not human, obviously, but they're intelligent. Technological." Jai-Yun's heart raced. This changed everything. They had prepared to build a colony on an empty world, not to meet aliens. "That's why we woke you early," Park continued. "You're our language expert. We need you to help us make contact when we arrive." "Have they detected us?" Jai-Yun asked. "Not yet. We've been running silent since we discovered the signals." Jai-Yun studied the planet on the screen. Hope. A world with its own people, its own history, its own languages. And now 10,000 homeless humans were about to arrive at their doorstep. "What if they don't want us there?" she asked quietly. Park's face hardened. "We have nowhere else to go. The *Seol* doesn't have enough fuel to reach another system. This is our only chance." Jai-Yun thought of Earth's final day, of her father staying behind so others could live. Had he sacrificed himself just for humanity to die in the void between stars? "Then we make this work," she said firmly. We find a way to communicate, to coexist. Park nodded, the ghost of a smile on his lips. That's why you're awake first, Jai-yun. Before the scientists, before the colony leaders. We need your words before we need anything else. Outside the window, the blue-green planet slowly grew larger. Their future, for better or worse. The Seol entered orbit around planet Hope 3 days later. By then, Jia-yun had set up a temporary language lab in the ship's communication center. Screens displayed the alien radio signals they had collected. Any progress? Commander Park asked as he entered the room. Jia-yun pushed her hair back from her tired eyes. Some. Their language has patterns. I think they use sounds like we do, not just radio waves to communicate. That's good news, Park said. He looked out the window at the blue-green planet below. We've woken the Leadership Council. They want a meeting in 1 hour. The council room was full when Jia-yun arrived. 12 people sat around a large table, all looking tired from their long sleep. Dr. Suho, the chief medical officer, nodded at Jia-yun as she took her seat. We need to decide our approach, Park began. Do we announce ourselves or land quietly? Han-gil, the security chief, spoke first. We should find an uninhabited area and set up our colony. Stay hidden until we know more about these aliens. That's impossible, Jia-yun said. They'll detect our landing. And we need to learn if this planet can even support human life before we wake everyone up. Jia-yun is right. Dr. Suho added. We need to test the air, water, and soil. If there are dangerous bacteria or viruses. A young officer burst into the room. Commander, an alien ship is approaching. Everyone froze. Then Park stood up. Show me. They rushed to the bridge. On the main screen, a ship was visible. It was smaller than the Seol with a smooth oval shape. Its surface shimmered with colors that shifted like oil on water. They're hailing us, the communications officer said. Park looked at Jia-yun. Can you respond? Not with words yet, she admitted. But I can try simple tones, a basic pattern to show we're intelligent and peaceful. Park nodded. Do it. Jia-yun sat at the communications console. Her fingers shook slightly as she programmed a series of simple mathematical patterns, prime numbers, the value of pi, basic universal constants that any technological civilization would recognize. She sent the message. The bridge fell silent as they waited. The response came quickly. The same pattern, repeated back, then extended with new sequences. They understand, Jia-yun whispered. The alien ship moved closer. Now they could see more details. It had no visible engines or weapons. It simply glided through space with an ease that made the Seol seem clumsy by comparison. They're requesting visual communication, the officer reported. Park straightened his uniform. Accept. The main screen flickered, and for the first time, humans saw the inhabitants of Planet Hope. They were tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like their ship. Their faces were almost human-like, with 2 large eyes that glowed with an inner light. No visible nose, but a small mouth. Their heads were hairless and slightly elongated. Jia-yun stared in wonder. The alien in the center of the screen stared back, its head tilted in what seemed like curiosity. Then it spoke. The sounds were musical, rising and falling in complex patterns. Recording everything, Jia-yun said quietly, not taking her eyes from the screen. I need more samples to start building a translation. To everyone's shock, the alien suddenly stopped. It seemed to listen to something off-screen. Then it turned back and spoke again. This time, the words were broken but recognizable. Welcome, humans, to Eun-su world. Gasps filled the bridge. Jia-yun stood up, her heart racing. How do you know our language? She asked slowly, clearly. The alien's mouth moved in what might have been a smile. Long, watching, Earth, many years. Park stepped forward. You knew about Earth. About what happened. The alien's expression changed, the lights around its eyes dimming slightly. Yes. Saw. Destruction. Sorry. Jai Yun felt a chill run through her. You were watching us. For how long? Many, many years. Why didn't you warn us about the solar flare? Park demanded, anger in his voice. The alien seemed to understand his emotion. It lowered its head. Not allowed. Law of no interference. Jai Yun put a hand on Park's arm. Commander, they know us. This changes everything. Park nodded slowly, his jaw tight. Ask them if we can land, if we can meet face to face. Jai Yun spoke clearly, pointing downward. Can we come to your world? Can our people meet your people? The alien watched her for a long moment. Then it nodded, a human gesture that confirmed Jai Yun's suspicion that they had been studying Earth for a very long time. Come, we will meet, talk, find place for humans. The landing craft from the Seoul touched down in a wide plaza in the center of an Eunsu city. Jai Yun stared through the window at the buildings around them. They rose in gentle curves, their surfaces shimmering like the Eunsu themselves. No sharp edges, no straight lines. Everything flowed like water frozen in time. Remember, Commander Park said to the small team of humans, we are guests here, and possibly the last humans anywhere. Be respectful. They stepped out onto the alien world. The air was slightly thicker than Earth's, with a sweet smell like cinnamon. The gravity felt a bit lighter, making Jai Yun feel as if she might float away if she jumped. A group of Eunsu waited for them. In the center stood the one who had spoken to them from the ship. Up close, the aliens were even taller than they had appeared on screen, nearly 7 feet tall. Welcome, the lead Eunsu said. Its voice was musical, like several notes played at once. I am Minho, chief speaker. Jai Yun bowed slightly. I am Jai Yun Kim. This is Commander Do-hyun Park. We thank you for your welcome. Minho led them into a large building. Inside, the walls displayed moving images of stars, planets, and galaxies. Jai Yun realized it was a map of space, constantly updating. You track other worlds, Park observed. Yes, we watch. We learn. We do not interfere. Minho gestured to a glowing blue dot. Your Earth before. The image zoomed in to show Earth as it had been. Blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown land. Then suddenly, a burst of light from the sun, and Earth changed. Its blue faded, clouds vanished, and it became a barren, burned world. Jai Yun turned away. It was too painful to watch. You knew this would happen, Park said, his voice hard. You could have warned us. Minho's eyes dimmed. Our oldest law. Cannot change path of other worlds. Must let all species follow own destiny. Even if that destiny is death, Park demanded. Yes, hard truth. Minho touched a control, and the image changed to show various points of light, moving away from Earth. But see, you survived. Not just your ship. Others too. Jai Yun moved closer. Other colony ships. They made it? Yes. 20 ships left Earth. 17 survived journey. Minho pointed to different star systems. Here, here, here. All found new worlds. Have you contacted them? Jai Yun asked eagerly. No, too far for us. But we see them land. See them build. Minho turned to face them directly. Humans very interesting. Very different from other species. Different how? Park asked. Minho hesitated, searching for words. Most species, when homeworld dies, they die too. No hope, no fight. But humans plan, build ships, find new homes. Strong will to live. We're survivors, Park said simply. More than that, Minho replied. He pressed another control, and a new image appeared, a strand of DNA. Look. The image split to show human DNA beside what Jai Yun assumed was Yun-Su DNA. Parts of both strands were highlighted, showing matching sections. "What is this?" Jai Yun whispered. "Truth we discovered when first watching Earth. Why we watched so closely." Minho's voice grew solemn. "Human DNA and Yun-Su DNA share patterns. Old patterns. Very old." "You're saying we're related?" Park asked, disbelief in his voice. "Yes. Long ago. Many thousand Earth years ago." Minho's eyes brightened. "We believe humans and Yun-Su share ancestors." Jai Yun felt dizzy. "That's impossible. Humans evolved on Earth. Or came to Earth," Minho suggested. "Very long ago. So long that memory was lost." "You're saying humans aren't from Earth originally?" Park looked stunned. "Perhaps, or perhaps our ancestors visited Earth, left genetic material." Minho spread his long fingers. "Much mystery still, but connection exists." Jai Yun looked at the DNA strands again. If this was true, it changed everything they thought they knew about human history. "There is more to tell," Minho said. "About galaxy. About danger." His expression grew serious. "Not all species welcome humans. Some fear your kind." "Fear us? Why?" Park asked. "Because of old stories. Because of what humans once were." Minho looked at each of them. "Because some believe humans almost destroyed galaxy once before." Jai Yun and Park exchanged shocked glances. The truth about humanity's past, and its place in the stars, was bigger and more frightening than they had ever imagined. 1 week after their arrival, Jai Yun sat in a large meeting hall with representatives from both species. The humans had woken 300 more people from the Seal scientists, engineers, and leaders who could help plan their future. The rest remained in cryosleep until a permanent home could be secured. Minho stood at the center of the room, showing images on the large display. A red area of space expanded across the star map, consuming system after system. "The Gaon Empire," Minho explained, "growing for 100 years, taking worlds, forcing other species to serve or die." Commander Park studied the map closely. "How many worlds have they taken?" 42 systems, Minho answered. 6 species now extinct." Whispers filled the room. Jai Yun felt a chill. Humanity had barely escaped extinction once. Now another threat loomed. "How close are they to this system?" Park asked. Minho touched the display, and the map shifted. 3 systems away. Perhaps 5 years before they reach us. "Do you have weapons? Defenses?" Hangil, the security chief, asked. Minho's skin color darkened slightly. Jai Yun had learned this was a sign of sadness or shame. "Yun-Shu not fighters. We watch, we learn, we build. But war," he shook his head. "We have ships, some weapons, not enough." "What about allies?" Jai Yun asked. "Other species who could help?" "We have alliance. 7 species, all peaceful, like us." Minho's voice lowered. "All afraid." Park stood up and walked to the display. For a moment, he studied the map in silence. Then he turned to face the room. "Maybe we can help each other," he said. "Humanity is new here, without a home. But there's one thing we know how to do." His face hardened. "We know how to fight. We know how to survive against impossible odds." Minho looked at him with interest. "You would fight for us?" "We would fight with you," Park corrected. "For a place to call home. For a future for both our peoples." One of the Yun-Su elders spoke up. "But you are so few. Only 10,000. 10,000 humans who have nothing left to lose," Park said. "And we have knowledge. Military tactics the Gaon have never seen. Ways of fighting they won't expect." Jai Yun watched the faces of both humans and Yun-Su. Hope was growing in the room. A dangerous, desperate hope. "We need to contact the other human ships," she said. "If 17 colony ships survived, That's nearly 200,000 humans spread across the galaxy. Together, we could be stronger. Minho nodded slowly. Possible. We have technology to send messages far. Not fast. Will take months to reach. But possible. Park turned to Jai-yun. Can you help create a message? Something all humans will understand. Whatever language they speak now. Jai-yun thought for a moment. Yes. Basic mathematical patterns first, then simple language, and SOS that any human would recognize. For the next 3 days, Jai-yun worked with the Eunsu communication experts. They created a message that would travel faster than light, jumping from one relay station to another across the vastness of space. Meanwhile, Park began training sessions with both human and Eunsu volunteers. In a large field outside the city, he showed the Eunsu basic fighting techniques. The Gaon expect you to fight like Eunsu, he told them. We'll teach you to fight like humans, unpredictable, adaptable, using the environment to your advantage. Jai-yun watched from a distance as Park demonstrated how to use the terrain, how to set traps, how to turn the enemy's strength against them. The Eunsu learned quickly, their natural grace making them surprisingly good fighters once they understood the principles. That evening, as the twin moons of hope rose in the sky, Jai-yun sat with Minho on a balcony overlooking the city. Do you think we can win? She asked quietly. Minho looked up at the stars. Not sure. But Eunsu have watched humans for centuries. One thing we learned, never bet against humans when survival is at stake. Jai-yun smiled slightly. That's true. We're stubborn that way. More than stubborn, Minho said. You are flame that refuses to go out. He touched her hand gently. Perhaps that is why some fear you, and why you might save us all. 3 months passed. The human settlement on Hope grew as more people were awakened from cryosleep. The Eunsu had given them land near the ocean, where they built simple homes and began planting earth crops in the alien soil. Jai-yun sat in the communication center, where she spent most of her days now. The walls were covered with star maps, each showing the location of a known human colony ship. Small lights blinked on some of the maps. Signals received. Connections made. Another response, said Youngjai, her assistant. He handed her a tablet. From the ***. They landed in a system called Nexus by the locals. Jai-yun read the message quickly. They found empty planets. No intelligent life, but good conditions. They've already built a small city. Lucky, Youngjai said quietly. Not all humans had been so fortunate. Some had landed on harsh worlds and struggled to survive. Others had found themselves in the middle of alien conflicts. A few had been welcomed like the **Seoul**, but many faced suspicion and fear. Commander Park entered the room, followed by Minho. Both looked tired. Any word from the **Mirai**? Park asked. Jai-yun shook her head. Nothing since their distress call last week. The **Mirai* had reported being approached by Gaon ships. Their last message was cut short. Everyone feared the worst. We have established contact with 12 of the 17 ships, Jai-yun said, trying to focus on the positive. That's nearly 120,000 humans we know survived. And all different now, Minho observed. Already changing, adapting to new worlds. It was true. In just 50 years, the scattered humans had begun to diverge. Those on water worlds had created floating cities. Others had developed new farming techniques for alien soils. Some had integrated with local species, learning their languages and customs. A few had even become traders, using their ships to move between nearby systems. This is what I've been working on, Jai-yun said, pulling up a new display. A database of all human colonies, their locations, technologies, and skills. I call it the Diaspora Network. Park studied the display. Can they communicate with each other, not just with us? Not directly, not yet. But we're working on a relay system using Eunsu technology. Jai-yun highlighted several points in space. These will be communication hubs. Any human ship or colony can send messages through them, connecting scattered humanity, Minho said. Good idea. The door opened, and Han Gil entered with a grim face. We have a problem. A big one. He placed a data crystal on the table. It projected an image of a massive ship, angular and black, bristling with weapons. Gaon? Park asked. Han Gil nodded. They attacked a small human outpost at Rigel 9, the Yulin colony. Jai-Yun felt her heart sink. Survivors. Some. They got a warning out to nearby systems. Han Gil's voice was tight. The Gaon commander sent a message afterward. He said the human infestation will be purged before it spreads. Minho's skin darkened with emotion. They fear you. As I said, old stories of human danger. We need to move faster, Park said. All our plans, all our preparations. We thought we had years. We might have months. Jai-Yun looked at the network of human colonies on her display. So few, so fragile, spread so thin across the vastness of space. We need to warn everyone, she said. All the colonies, all our allies. And then, Han Gil asked. Park's face hardened. Then we do what humans have always done when backed into a corner. We fight. We survive. We prove them right to fear us. Minho tilted his head, studying Park. This violence, is it your true nature? Jai-Yun answered before Park could. No, but survival is. We adapt. We overcome. If peace is possible, we choose it. If not, she looked at the image of the Gaon ship again. If not, we do whatever it takes to ensure a future for our children. Minho was silent for a moment. Then he touched a control, expanding the star map to show the entire sector. Then let us begin, he said. Together, we will send your human message to all stars. Earth's end was not humanity's end, and those who threaten you will learn this truth too late. The warning came at dawn. Alarms blared throughout the human settlement, waking Jai-Yun from a troubled sleep. She rushed outside to see people running toward the command center. What's happening? She asked a passing technician. Gaon ships, he answered. 3 of them, heading for the Proxima colony. Proxima was the nearest human settlement to Hope, established just 6 months ago when the Seol had sent some of its people to start a second colony. 5,000 humans lived there now. In the command center, Commander Park stood before a large screen showing 3 black ships moving through space. Their angular shapes reminded Jai-Yun of predatory fish she had once seen in Earth's oceans. Time to arrival, Park asked. 6 hours, an IM-SU operator replied. They do not know we see them. Minho entered the room, his skin pulsing with worried colors. The Defense Council is gathering. We must decide how to respond. There's nothing to decide, Park said firmly. We need to evacuate Proxima and prepare to fight. With what? Han Gil asked. Our ships are still being upgraded with weapons. The new fighters aren't ready. Park's face showed no fear, only determination. Then we use what we have, and we use it in ways they won't expect. Within an hour, a plan formed. Jai-Yun watched as Park explained it to the gathered humans, and Yun-Su. The Gaon expect a direct defense, ships meeting ships. We won't give them that. He pointed to a moon orbiting Proxima's planet. We'd hide our small fighters here. When the Gaon begin their attack on the colony, we hit them from behind. And the colonists? Jai-Yun asked. We evacuate who we can, but we need to make it look normal. No panic, no rush. If the Gaon suspect we know they're coming, we lose our advantage. Minho looked troubled. Many Yun-Su fear this path. Once we attack Gaon ships, we enter war fully. No turning back. They attacked us first, Han Gil reminded him, at Rigel 9. And they'll attack again and again until we show them we can fight back, Park added. 3 hours later, Jai Yun stood in the hangar watching fighters prepare for launch. 20 small ships, each with just enough room for a pilot and weapons. 10 would be flown by humans, 10 by Yun-Su, who had trained with Park. Jai Yun approached one fighter where a young Yun-Su named Tae-sung was checking systems. His skin rippled with nervous colors. "First battle?" she asked gently. "Yes. Yun-Su do not have war in our history." His large eyes blinked. "But we learn from humans. Commander Park has taught us well. Remember what he said. Don't try to fight like the Gaon. Fight like us. Quick, unpredictable." Tai-sung's colors steadied, like water around rock. Park walked through the hangar, stopping at each fighter to speak with the pilot. When he reached Jai Yun, his face was calm but serious. "The evacuation ships have reached Proxima. They're loading people now, making it look routine." "Do you think this will work?" Jai Yun asked quietly. "It has to," Park said simply. "We can't run anymore. There's nowhere left to go." The fighters launched, disappearing into the blackness of space. Jai Yun returned to the command center with Park, where they could monitor the battle. Hours passed in tense silence. The Gaon ships reached Proxima and began to orbit the planet. On screen, they looked even more menacing up close. "They're scanning the colony," an operator reported. "Evacuation ships are still loading." Suddenly, one of the Gaon ships fired on the colony. A building exploded. "Now," Park ordered into the comm. On the screen, 20 small fighters appeared from behind the moon. They moved with incredible speed, darting toward the Gaon ships from all directions. "They're firing," someone shouted. The fighters didn't try to destroy the massive Gaon ships. Instead, they targeted engines, weapons, and communication arrays, just as Park had planned. Like angry insects, they struck and moved, never staying in one place long enough to be hit. One of the Gaon ships began to spin, its engines damaged. Another lost weapons on one side. "It's working," Jai Yun whispered. Then a bright flash filled the screen. One of their fighters had been hit. Tai-sung. Min-ho cried out, recognizing the fighter's signal. The battle had begun, and with it, a new chapter in human and Yun-Su history. Victory was far from certain, but one thing was clear. Humanity would not disappear quietly into the dark. 2 months after the battle at Proxima, the war had spread across 3 star systems. Jai Yun no longer counted days, only victories and losses, ships that returned and those that didn't. The command center had expanded, with representatives from 4 other species now joining the humans and Yun-Su. The coalition had grown as word of the successful defense at Proxima spread. "The Gaon have pulled back from Sector 7, Hangil reported, pointing to the star map. "That's the 3rd retreat this week." "Not retreat," said Kaiho, a reptilian ally from a nearby system. "They gather. Prepare bigger attack." Jai Yun feared Kaiho was right. The Gaon weren't giving up. They were planning something bigger. She missed Commander Park's steady presence. After leading 3 successful space battles, he had taken command of the ground forces on Tellus, a contested planet where both sides had established bases. The fighting there had been going on for weeks. "Message from Tellus," the communications officer announced. Text only. Jai Yun moved quickly to the console. The message was brief. "Need reinforcements. Heavy losses. Park wounded but alive." Her heart tightened. "How soon can we send help?" Min-ho checked the deployment screens. 2 ships ready. Can leave within hour. Jai Yun nodded. "Send them, and I want to go too." Min-ho looked surprised. "You are not soldier." "No, but I'm needed there." She didn't explain further. The truth was she couldn't bear waiting any longer, not knowing if Park would live or die. 6 hours later, Jai Yun's transport landed on Tellus. The planet's surface was covered in blue-green vegetation, but large areas had been burned by weapons fire. The human Yun-Su base was built into the side of a mountain for protection. Inside, the base was crowded with wounded soldiers, both human and alien allies. Jai-Yun made her way to the medical section, where she found Park lying on a bed, his chest covered in bandages. "You shouldn't be here," he said when he saw her, his voice weak but still commanding. "You need help," she replied simply. "All of you do." Over the next few days, Jai-Yun worked with the base's communication team, coordinating with other coalition forces. She learned that 3 more human colony ships had joined the fight, bringing new weapons and tactics. In a quiet moment, she sat with Minho in the base's observation room. Through the window, they could see the strange forests of Tellus stretching to the horizon. "Something I do not understand," Minho said. "Humans fight differently than all other species." "How so?" Jai-Yun asked. "Others fight for territory, for resources, for survival. But humans," his skin rippled thoughtfully, "humans fight for ideas, for freedom, for future they cannot see but believe in." Jai-Yun considered this. "Is that good or bad?" "Both. Makes you dangerous, makes you powerful." Minho handed her a small device, found this in old archives. Very old. The device projected an image, a stone tablet covered in symbols that looked strangely familiar. "This is human writing," Jai-Yun said, surprised. "But older than any I've seen. Where was this found?" "Ancient ruins, planet destroyed long ago." Minho's voice grew quiet. 10,000 years ago. Advanced civilization existed in this sector, then vanished. Some believe it was human. "That's impossible," Jai-Yun said. "Humans evolved on Earth." "Or returned to Earth," Minho suggested. "After Great War. After they lost technology, lost memory of stars." Before Jai-Yun could respond, alarms sounded throughout the base. "Gaon ships," someone shouted. "Hundreds of them." They rushed to the command center. The screen showed a massive Gaon fleet approaching the planet. "They found our main base," an officer said. "This is their big push." Park had been brought to the command center on a stretcher. Despite his injuries, his mind was sharp. "Send the signal," he ordered. "Activate Operation Last Light." Jai-Yun knew what that meant. For weeks, coalition forces had been placing stealth fighters around Gaon supply lines and bases. With one signal, they would all attack at once, not the main fleet, but the support structure behind it. "Will it be enough?" Jai-Yun asked quietly. Park took her hand. "I don't know, but it's what humans do. We find the edge, the advantage no one expects." He looked at the approaching fleet. "And sometimes we surprise even ourselves." The signal was sent. Now they could only wait and hope that humanity's edge would be sharp enough. 5 years had passed since the Battle of Tellus. Jai-Yun stood before the large window in the Great Hall, looking out at the city that had grown on hope. Buildings of human and Yunsu design stood side by side, and the streets were filled with beings from a dozen different worlds. "It's time," said a voice behind her. Jai-Yun turned to see Commander Park, now Admiral Park, standing in the doorway. His uniform was formal today, with new medals that caught the light. The scars on his face had faded somewhat, but he still walked with a slight limp, a reminder of the wounds he had received on Tellus. "Are you nervous?" he asked, coming to stand beside her. "A little," Jai-Yun admitted. "It's not every day a human addresses the Galactic Council." The Galactic Council had existed for centuries, but humans had only been invited to join after the war ended. Today would be the formal acceptance ceremony, with Jai-Yun speaking as humanity's representative. "You'll do well," Park said. "You always find the right words." They made their way through the building to the council chamber. The room was circular, with seats for representatives of 27 spacefaring species. At the center was a platform where speakers stood. Above, a dome showed the stars, turning slowly to display different parts of the galaxy. Jai-Yun took her place at the center of the chamber. Around her sat beings of all shapes and sizes, some humanoid like the Yunsu, others completely alien in form. She saw Minho among them, his skin glowing with proud colors. "We gather today," began the head council member, an ancient being named Rayon, "to formally welcome the human species to the Galactic Council. Though they are young among us, they have proven their worth." Jai Yun listened as Rayon recounted the war against the Gaon, how the surprise attack on their supply lines, Operation Last Light, had turned the tide, how human tactics combined with alien technology had finally pushed back the Gaon forces until they agreed to peace. And now, Rayon concluded, "We invite Jai Yun Kim, human ambassador, to speak." Jai Yun stepped forward. The chamber fell silent. 5 years ago, she began, humanity stood at the edge of extinction. Our homeworld was gone. Our people scattered across unfamiliar stars. We were lost, alone, and afraid. She paused, looking around at the gathered representatives. But we found something we never expected. We found that we were not alone in the darkness. We found friends, allies, perhaps even distant family. She nodded toward Minho. The Gaon feared humans because of old stories, tales of a species that once spread across the stars and then vanished. We still don't know if those ancient beings were our ancestors. We may never know. Jai Yun touched a control, and the dome above showed Earth as it once was, beautiful, blue, alive. But we do know this. Earth is gone, but humanity continues. We have formed colonies on 12 worlds. We have learned languages, customs, and sciences from our new friends. We have shared our own knowledge in return. The dome changed to show images of human colonies, cities on distant planets, ships traveling between stars, children of Earth playing under alien suns. The Human Confederation now includes nearly 500,000 people. We grow stronger each year, not to conquer, not to destroy, but to build, to learn, to explore. She looked at Park, whom nodded slightly in encouragement. Earth's end was just our beginning. And this, she gestured to the council, to the stars above, to the universe beyond. This is where we were always meant to be. The chamber erupted in sounds of approval. Some applauded as humans did. Others made clicks, hums, or flashed colors to show their support. As Jai Yun stepped down from the platform, Minho approached her. "Your father would be proud," he said softly. Jai Yun smiled, thinking of Ta Wu Kim, who had stayed behind on Earth's last day so others could live, thinking of all those lost, who would never see these new worlds. "Yes," she said, "I think he would." Outside the council chamber, the sun was setting on hope. But across the galaxy, on a dozen worlds, human children were waking to new days, looking up at unfamiliar stars, and knowing they were home. Earth was gone. Humanity had just begun.